In 5, 4, 3,
Oh, your
2.
video's all messed up.
Huh?
The grainy.
So do you kind of. Damn
Totally.
it. What the is going on?
What the F bomb?
Let me see. Oh, wait.
And you're on
Live for episode 6.
episode 6 for those of you listening in Spanish.
Oh. So what do you know, man?
I'm installing hardwood floors, laminate flooring, and I'm tired and I'm way, way behind on everything I have to do. I'm behind on it all. My office looks like a mess. I'm barely getting my orders out on time, but floors are great.
Have you thought about giving up?
Yes, pretty much when we started. Thing about the laminate is once you get going, you're good. But getting started is a pain in the butt, especially if you've never done it before.
Why? What do you mean?
Well, just knowing like how it's supposed to interlock and how it's supposed to fit, and you have to be a certain, you have to be a 3/8 inch off of the walls to allow for expansion. It was just a mess. But once you get it going, my wife did our entire bedroom by herself. So
You are very mean.
pretty awesome.
Can't believe you made her do all that.
I got podcasts to do, and we know how important this is.
You're not going to get an objection from me.
Yeah. So yeah, but it's been a good month though, for sure.
Good. Yeah. Same here. I know we both set a goal. We actually set the same goal, and you have knocked it out of the park, and I have gone, well beyond what I thought, I would have done this month. And we still have what, 4 days, 5 days?
Yeah, I think we hit the goal. We hit our stretch goal like 4 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 4 days ago.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have actually, I'm within like $100 of my next month's goals, which is more, than this month's goals. So that to me is crazy. And that kind of shows the power of actually setting goals in a timeline and a date, just saying, hey, you're going to do it in this timeline. You adjust on the fly to make sure it happens, and you don't do that if you don't have those goals set. I wasn't even planning on getting on a rant about goals.
Yeah, but it's important though. It really is.
Yeah, it is. And it's something that, I preach a lot to some of my entrepreneur friends and stuff. And it's just, like I need to do it myself,
Yeah.
Sometimes, the advice you give is best taken by yourself. I just made that up. You can credit me for any memes or.
No, I can relate for sure. But yeah, so next month, we're gonna have to.
Almost kind of have to up the goal from what we were thinking.
Yeah, but then it's like, man, can I keep it going?
No, well, see, the good part about this, we are almost in October. We're a couple days away from October. October, November, December. Let's be honest, it's not going to be hard to get goals. We actually need to up our goals to push ourselves even harder.
Yeah. Especially, God, November is going to be fun. November, December is going to be a blast.
It's going to be a blast in the bank account.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah, it is. eBay. I love eBay during the holidays.
I can get my molester van, maybe.
That's true. You got to tell people about that.
Oh, God. I'm going to post some pictures on Instagram.
Post the pictures that you gave me. It looked like you were trying to steal those vans. It was creepy. It's just like imagine the creepiest white van you possibly can with just moonlight illuminating the van and it being like pitch black otherwise.
In the swamp, the backwoods of Louisiana.
Yeah.
That's exactly where they are. They are down a long, dark country road.
That is scary. That is scary.
Yeah, yeah. And they had a bunch of spider webs in them too, and I know that you are a fan.
Nope. No, that's one thing I don't do. I can do snakes, mice,
Really?
cockroaches. I can do it all. Can't do spiders. No, no. I watched Arachnophobia when I was too young. And it ruined me.
Spiders don't bother me. I hate to say, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I hate to say that spiders don't bother me because you got like brown recluse and black widows and stuff around here. So like those spiders, yeah, those scare me just because of what they can do to you. But most spiders don't bother me. Snakes, not really that much, but snakes to me are more of a, you're not going to get most spiders. I say most because some of them do jump, but most of them aren't going to jump at you from, feet away. A snake will get you.
Yeah, for the most part, they're gonna. Well, the snakes, you sneak up on them and they react.
Yeah.
But it's the spiders. It's the craziest thing. I can look at a spider and I know that spider's not gonna hurt me, but I have this I have this just natural reaction in my body that just makes me just cringe, and I can't control it. Can't control it.
You worked at a place one time that had horrible spiders, right?
Tarantulas. That's fucking tarantulas. And I wasn't told. This is in North Texas, and I wasn't told that there were actual tarantulas. It's giving me goosebumps right now. Like, ugh, god dang. So, and I'll tell you a story. It's like my second day on the job here, and we're selling these cots, these camping cots, and underneath it we keep the bag for the cot. And this guy comes up to me. He says, "Hey," he's like, "I think there's a tarantula under that bag." And I'm like, "You're fucking kidding me, right? Like a tarantula, those live in the rainforest or the Amazon somewhere. They're that you just don't, or maybe it's in a zoo or a petting or a store or something. You buy them they're.
Do you think he was messing with you?
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I didn't know tarantulas. I didn't know that was a legit thing. I thought that those were exotic spiders from some other land.
Yeah.
No. So I'm like, he's like, "Are you serious?" He said, "Yeah, absolutely." So I go back there. I get somebody. I said, "There's a fucking tarantula under this bag." I'm like, "Oh yeah, they're here all the time." Oh, I about died. Sure enough, and it's making my skin crawl right now. I've got I don't know if you can see the goosebumps or the hair standing up on my arm. They pull the bag, and there's this little fucker going. Oh God! Look at the goosebumps. See the goosebumps? And this fucking spider just all the way across the store, and then the guy comes up and just smashes him.
So are we talking about furry pet store size tarantulas?
Like that size tarantula. And I mean, I would say a good 6 inches across. If you were to spread its legs out, it was a good 6 inches across.
I see. I couldn't. We can go back to I'm not really that afraid of spiders. A spider that big's not. To me, that's not a spider. That's a small furry animal.
It's too big. It's way too big. And
they have huge fangs too, right?
Yeah, it wasn't the last one. It was not the last. I probably found 3 or 4 of them, and I swear it was and they said, in the country you could just see them crossing the road, that was just a normal thing, out in the country.
So how did they get there? Did someone bring them there, or is that normal?
It's normal. They live out there. There's tarantulas naturally. They live in North Texas. Now they're not like the Discovery Channel tarantulas that you see. That's 5 foot wide tarantulas, but like they're not like
Is
huge.
that a real thing?
Not at all. But
Okay. God.
yeah, I mean, you've seen them, like you've seen these huge birds eating tarantulas or whatever. No, but these things were, God, they were freaking scary. I'll
We
never
have
forget it.
gone way out
That's okay.
in left field.
That's okay. We do things like this though.
We do.
This is totally okay. So if you're in North Texas and you're driving down a country road and you see things on the road, don't get out. Don't get out. You will die.
You will definitively die.
You will die. And then, of course, everybody thought it was hilarious to fuck with me from then on out because they knew I had an issue with spiders. And, yep. Not good. Not good.
Well, either way, great story.
Yeah. Sad
I'd love
story.
to hear more.
But I've got more.
No,
I okay.
I don't.
I can tell you all about it.
Let's talk about something we were talking about just before the podcast, and I think this is something people are going to be able to relate to. Really, I know that you feel a little bit ashamed of how many times you do it a day.
Yes, checking seller app.
We should have left that a little longer so people could just kind of use their imagination.
They know. They know. If you sell on Amazon, you're checking that thing every 10 seconds.
How many times do you think you check it a day?
I would be embarrassed if I actually found out. But
really?
A lot, every time I pick up my phone, I check it just about. I say
more than once.
Once what?
Every time you pick up your phone.
Sometimes, yeah.
Or is it every time you open your phone? Well, you have a nice phone that opens when you look at it.
Yeah, no.
My phone still has a headphone jack.
I probably
remember those.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, no, that I'm gonna check it right now. Actually, okay, yep, checked it. I'm good. No, every single time I open my phone, I check it, and sometimes I check it multiple times.
Same here.
I would be embarrassed to find out how many times I actually check it.
I think this is a normal thing, though. I really do.
Here's the thing. Here's a measure of success. When you no longer have to look at that thing so often, you know you're to a point. Yeah. If you're doing so well that like you don't have to check that thing so often, like
it's just such a steady sales number every day that it doesn't.
Right. It's so predictable that you get to the point where it's just like, it's not something that you're checking.
I agree with that.
I think that's when you've made it.
But that'll be years, if not forever, away for us.
No, it won't be. 3 to 5 years. I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
3 to 5 years. I'll have a warehouse. I'll be free and clear of any full-time job responsibilities.
No, you'll have a full-time job
that I don't own.
Yeah.
I will own my own I'll own my own business and own my own destiny,
Amen to that. So let's kind of jump into some stuff here. I want to talk a little bit about Q4 and what it takes to make it through a Q4 with make a Q4 the best it can be. Because we both actually had our first Q4 last year. I was able to sell toys and stuff, and you unfortunately weren't, just because of their their restrictions. And even though I was able, to sell toys and stuff, I didn't have the capital. And the name of the game in Q4 is capital. It's cash flow. There's a bunch of different ways to get it. At the end of the day, you need to kind of tailor it to your own business and to what kind of sales numbers you are doing and what kind of cash that you're comfortable with, borrowing for a little bit, maybe 30 days at a time, maybe a couple months. Some people will borrow money to get through the whole Q4. Some people will borrow money for the month, whatever. Everybody's situation is different, but everybody's situation is the same as well, because everybody needs money. You have to have that cash uh, flow to keep the business running. There's no way around it.
Yeah, and we were talking about we were having a conversation off air, like talking about how it's like you got to be careful with how hard you go with things. And it's like, okay, do I buy 12? Do I buy 24, 36, 48? And I think if you can have the capital that will make those decisions easier, and not have to worry about tying up, the bulk of your money into one item, and having the ability, like, if I have to, that can sit for a couple months. You know what I'm saying? And it could tie up a few $1,000s or a few $100s, depending on what, where you're at. If you can do that, if you can say, okay, this is I'm gonna invest $1,000 on this product, and if it doesn't, and if the market gets flooded with more sellers, it's okay if it sits for a few months. And I mean, it's not ideal, but you know, I think even this week before last, it was like, okay, we have to stop buying these things. Like we have to hold off. Like, I don't want to put all my eggs in this basket where, now.
Because you only have so much room in that basket because
Right.
of cash flow, right?
Exactly. And you got to take into account that you're not going to get that money for like 3 or 4 weeks. Like, I mean, this
Minimum.
minimum. You buy it, you pack it, it hits the if you're fast, it'll hit the distribution centers about a week after you buy it, and then once it gets there,
Yeah, at minimum.
yeah, at minimum, and then once it gets there, it can be, held up in fulfillment center transfers, heading to different, like different fulfillment centers, and it could be hung up in that for weeks.
Yeah.
And then, and so, you got to be willing to be without that money for quite a while, because you're not going to see it for a long time.
What that
Um,
also means too is that, say you're doing a credit card. Well, the smartest way to use a credit card is to pay it off every month, so you don't incur the interest charges. So your timeline there, from the time you buy that product, you've created that credit card charge when you buy that product. So you have, like you said, a week minimum to get it to your warehouse. Then you may have another couple weeks, depending on where it's going from there. Then you have to sell it. Then you have to wait 2 weeks for Amazon to pay you for it. Sometimes more if somebody returns it, whatever. So yeah, you could be a month and a half out
mhm.
on something, that you've paid for on a credit card. And that's, yeah,
And
I
then
don't
you
know
get
where I was going with that, to be honest with you.
well, no, and then you get charged the interest, and then that eats all your profit, and you've done a whole lot for nothing. And so,
Perfect team.
yeah, so I think you just got to be careful, and that's why you don't, especially with Amazon FBA, you don't want to start with debt. You want to make sure you're using the cash, whatever amount it may be, using the cash you have, and then building that emergency fund, just like you would in your normal life, but building like a business emergency fund. If something happens, or you get a listing that gets shut down due to all these ridiculous different reasons.
So what do
um
you suggest, like, just somebody beginning, just somebody with a couple $100 in their pocket, and access to a couple clearance items, or just, what would your advice be going into Q4? Say they have the sales to be able to sell, to be ungated and toys and such.
I mean, that's tough for me because I would say eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah, eBay, simply because there's a lot of people that, you know, 10 months out of the year won't touch eBay, but they will when it comes to the holidays because they know that's kind of always been the place to go to get these. You're going to pay ridiculous amounts of money, but that's eBay has always been that place to find this stuff that's sold out, right? So,
Do you think it will continue to be?
yeah, I think so. Um, because Amazon, you're going to have the same pricing issues with Amazon. Just, I mean, and that's depending on
I
what
don't know that that's the case this
yeah,
year.
right. That could be very different this year because we really don't know what Amazon's going to do, but I think if you're starting out with a small amount, go for hot toys during Q4. PayPal, you have PayPal, you have access to those funds, depending on how old your account is. If you had that account open for more than 90 days, you'll have access to the funds immediately.
A maximum of 5 days, I think, you'll have access, even no matter what your, how new or old your account is, right?
It's once it's been delivered,
Right.
then you can ask them to unlock your unavailable balance. It's PS, but it's the first 90 days. You kind of got to get past it. But
I just got sorry to interrupt, but I just got, when I logged into PayPal today, it asked me if I wanted, what did it say, funds now? What do they call it?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking
You talking
about?
about?
It just happened. I think you asked me about it, or I saw a post about it, something where your funds are immediately available.
Well, mine are immediately available now. Like, I mean, there's no.
But I had to
Oh,
opt in.
oh wait, no. Are you talking about? You're talking about Amazon.
No, I'm talking about PayPal.
Your money's not available immediately.
Well, it is now, apparently.
Oh,
Apparently, this is old news for people like you, but
well, I mean, if you have account in good standing for 90 days, then there are no restrictions.
apparently I'm 90 days into good standing.
That's interesting. You need to check on that.
No,
shit.
I think it's something new because I saw somebody post about it the other day.
I thought you were talking about Amazon. We had a conversation about Amazon.
Yeah, no,
there's like a
no,
service.
this is different. This is PayPal today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amazon they advertise some company that's like get paid daily, and I don't even want to know what
sellability or payability.
Maybe like payability. I don't even want to know what they charge for that service.
I can't remember. I know I've looked into it, or heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what it was, but I don't think it was too much. But I mean, that's another option for people going into Q4. Sometimes the access, the ability to buy a product is more important than a 1 or 2% fee that somebody like. I'm pretty sure it's payability. Anyway, they basically give you a loan until that Amazon payment is cleared after, what is it, the 14 days. So,
but if you're if you're new, so I suggest eBay. It's just so much easier to get into it without having to have tons of cash.
Yeah, so basically build your bankroll as much as you can until you have the experience and the know-how to buy products, to put someone else's money into your products.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you
don't get impatient.
Your account will start to snowball. Like even though you're having to wait like these 3 or 4 weeks, to get your return on your investment, it kind of adds up and it'll catch up eventually. But that first, little bit's kind of tough to stomach.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And, for that first little bit, sometimes you don't even have enough to pay for the seller account when it comes to Amazon.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're still charging your credit card instead of taking it out of your available balance.
Yeah, I was looking at my inventory lab. I think it was for February, May, or somewhere around there. But I had a negative 18 net profit, and I had $18 net profit because I kind of ignored Amazon that month. And I think I had like
what's bad about that?
I had like $100 and something in sales that month.
Wait, I thought negative on your profit was a good thing.
Yeah, no, not at all.
No.
You want that number black, not red.
I gotta rethink my business plan now because this doesn't work.
If it's red and it has a little negative, little takeaway,
that's bad.
That's not good.
Are you sure? Are you sure you're not mixing up the credit and the debits and the?
100% positive.
I'm gonna have to get my CPA to look at this. I'm not sure that I believe you. That's another good point. Get a CPA.
Yep.
Get a CPA. If you plan on making this a business, don't don't mess around and just do all this stuff on a whim and just get somebody that knows what they're doing. It
Yep.
will save you in the long run, believe me.
Yeah, totally. I think we both have. You have a CPA. I have an
Mm-hmm.
accounting firm that I use. That they, they, mine has. I think yours is too, but mine has like full access to my QuickBooks account.
Yeah.
And they just do everything for me. I don't do anything. The only thing
You
I
don't do
no,
anything?
the one thing I do is I give her my cost of goods because she doesn't know that unless she goes through my receipts, which she's not going to. But like I have to give her my cost of goods, and then she handles everything else.
That's pretty good
Yeah, well,
accountant.
I pay her $86 an hour, so she better be good. Which she is.
Hey, there's some that ask a lot more than that. I know. I kind of shopped around some accountants when I first started, and I got referred to unknowingly one of the biggest accounting firms here in the city.
Oh yeah,
And,
tell that story.
um, well, I don't know really what there is to tell. I
No, no, listen. Here. Look, you're kind of new into the business, somewhat new. You've been selling for a few months, but you're you're starting to get to the point where it's like, okay, I'm gonna need help with my accounting,
yeah
and go.
yeah. So I set up an appointment with this company, and I went. I mean, we're talking about we're in Louisiana. We're in North Louisiana. There's not really many big buildings. Well, they're in the biggest building in our city. And, I go up to their floor, which they have two entire floors of this building. And go in and I have a little meeting with the person that does the first interview or whatever you want to call it. And we're talking through all this stuff. I told her I do e-commerce, I sell on Amazon, eBay, stuff like that. And I use QuickBooks Online. And they said, "Oh yeah, we can set you up with somebody, one of our accountants." So a week or two goes by, whenever it was, and I went back for my appointment, my initial appointment with the bookkeeper or accountant that was assigned to my account. Well, I went in there and I had to show this person how to use QuickBooks Online. She basically told me that they don't use QuickBooks Online. Nobody uses QuickBooks Online. And that's when I knew. That's when I knew I had to look for someone else. I was like, man. And then I got, what was it, $140 bill. And I said, I wrote him back and I just basically in pretty nice words just said, like, I'm not paying this. I said, I did tell him, I'll pay my debts. I said, I will pay this, but I said, I will never recommend you to anyone. I said, I don't really feel that I should be charged for this because I had to show your employee how to use the program that I told you that I use. And you said it was okay that you would have somebody in the company that knew how to work that program. And they ended up saying, no, you're not on the hook for it. We'll absolve you of that. So,
Yeah,
okay.
you're way better than me. There's no chance in hell I would have paid a penny for that. Only because you said I specifically asked if you knew how to work with QuickBooks Online.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way I would never pay for that.
Yeah. Anyway, that gets me to my next point. I don't know how it does, but actually kind of goes back to a point. I've said this before. I've never really been one to use credit, but when you start getting into Q4 and you start getting into longer lead times and stuff, sometimes you have to use credit to fund your business. And I've just kind of become okay with borrowing someone else's money for a little while.
And let me tell you, knowing you for way too long, that is unfreaking heard of from this guy. So
Unbearable.
I, I could, I just know it. But it just shows you how yeah, how much of a reality it is that you know at some point it will help you. You don't have to use it, but it will help you.
I almost want to disagree with you. Not because technically you're wrong, but I feel that you do have to use it, if you want to scale up and if you want to, you know, actually play ball.
Not if you're given a small loan of $1 million from your dad.
That is true. Where can I sign up for that?
Not gonna happen.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't think being given something like that would make this valuable. I think the hard work and the late nights and just the excruciatingly slow process of building your money and stuff. I think it's kind of like forging a sword. It's just every fold of that sword makes it stronger and stronger. So every month that you're going and you're, having to stretch your dollar and just grind and grind and grind to make that next dollar. I think it just makes the sword a better sword.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. I think, you know, it's it's so much nicer starting with just a few dollars and then, hopefully in the years to come, seeing that just kind of explode into something. And it's kind of like it reminds me of an episode of The Office when Dwight starts trading things. He starts with just like a candle. I think it's a candle or something,
I think it is
and he just trades
a
up and
used
up.
candle.
Yeah, a used candle, and he just keeps trading it and trading it and trading it. And
No, a thumbtack, a push pin.
yeah, push pin.
That's what he started with. He did end up. He
Yeah, he
got a can.
traded the push pin for the candle, traded the candle for like some books or some ended up with a telescope, whatever. But the point is you can literally do that. Like if you really wanted to take the time, you could take, something so small and then start just trading and working your way to something big. So it's pretty cool. I think that's my favorite part. I love looking at pictures from a year ago and being like, whoa.
Yeah, that is it. It is cool. Um, you just got to kind of figure out how to balance, that just really slow roll to, what do I need to do to scale up quicker? There's a balance in there, and usually that balance comes when that account balance is zero, and that lending power is zero. you know, usually it kind of just makes you, you know, slow it down a bit.
Yeah. Yep. And there'd be times when you have to. Like, it was getting to a point where, when you're spending, especially if you're like if you're spending on a credit card or whatever, you're gonna have there gonna be times where you're gonna have to stop yourself and be like, okay, I you don't want to jump over the cliff. You want to get right towards the edge and maximize your spending power, but not by sacrificing your profitability. So
I agree. The I was close to that cliff, or am now, to where most of my money's tied up in inventory and in unavailable balances, and my credit card bill is about to be due, and I'm like, God, I just hate transferring money and stuff that, I know it's there somewhere. Like it's either tied up in inventory or it's in unavailable balances. You have to kind of like, whoa, you got to kind of pull the reins a little bit and slow down before you do get, too big for your britches, as we would say here in the South.
right, but think about, you think about companies, they go on hiring freezes, they go on spending freezes. They regularly do the same thing where, depending on, where they're at in the fiscal year, like there's going to be times where they're going to be like, okay, let's cut discretionary spending, let's cut, hiring, let's cut these things. So I mean, it's natural. Of course, we're doing it on an extremely small scale, but it's, all levels of business do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You don't want to over commit and get to a point where you're not able to pay your debts.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I was just thinking the other day, I was like, most resellers and most, and this is not to talk down on Amazon and eBay sellers because I am one of them. And this defines me too. Most of us are running micro businesses, if you will. We're just kind of, we're going through the motions, and you can see once people start building a real business, they start doing the things like we talked about in previous episodes. You getting your resale stuff, you getting your registered with the state, all that kind of stuff. Every step that you take to mimic a big company is what you really have to do to level up in this business. You really have to start. Eventually we'll have to start, hiring employees, and then, sticking to the actual laws about employees, and, workman's comp and all that kind of stuff, just have to start doing all that kind of stuff. And at some point you have to, either you're going to treat this like a business, or you're just going to keep it a hobby. But I think all of us kind of start in this micro business kind of realm.
Yeah, no, I agree. But everything progresses. I mean, it's either going to compress or you're going to quit. A lot of people quit. It's just not for them. That's fine.
It's not easy.
No,
It's not.
It's not easy. And some people make it harder on themselves, and I could go for days about that.
But are we talking more about a personality type, or are we talking about, people just, I think it's probably more of a personality type.
Yeah. Well, and that and some people will blindly follow social media figures and things like that, and they'll be like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to Goodwill and buy 500 pounds of clothing, and then they bring the clothing home, and it's just like it'll just sit there. That's like me. I've got like a little bucket of clothing over here that I need to list, and it's just our house stuff. We don't buy clothing. I can't do it. But it's just kind of like our house stuff that we don't need anymore, or our personal clothing we don't need anymore.
Right.
And I just can't bring myself to take the time to make $2. I just can't. I can't do it. I'd much rather be, something else. It's just not me. It is for some people. Some people make a lot of money off of it. A lot of the, I would say I think the majority of people, now not majority, but there's quite a few people that are pretty popular folks that do nothing but clothing, or at least, mostly clothing in their businesses, and they make some good money at it. But God, it's a lot of freaking work.
Clothing is hard.
And don't get me into, and then you've got, Poshmark, and I don't understand Poshmark, and that's my fault. I haven't even messed with it that much. But the sharing, the time it comes, the time it consumes sharing your store and all that stuff, it becomes like a your 10th social network that you're joining.
Right.
So I don't know. Some people, the point is, some people pick more difficult paths than others.
Yeah, sometimes you have to pick the easier path or the more profitable path, sometimes, which is not easier. Most of the time it's not easier, but that's a good point. I've seen eBay and Amazon both be able to be really profitable or really not profitable. And when I say profitable, I mean high profits. You sell one item and you make $50 versus you sell 10 items and you make $50. I would much rather sell one item, and it's much easier. It's, in my opinion, it's much smarter, but everybody's business plan is different, and it's tailored to their own, goals and stuff. But to me, I'd rather sell a $200 item and make $50 profit. No.
Yeah, absolutely. No. Or I mean, think about it. You can go to 5 Goodwills in one day, and you could shop and you could buy all this clothing, and you could be making just couple dollars on each piece, or you can be spending that time really looking for those like unique pieces that and researching, these weird, like, I don't know, this weird, what's a weird thing that you found at Goodwill? Like,
Coogee.
yeah. Well, that's clothing, I'm talking about like,
Oh, actually, believe it or not, I found I'm going to get it. Hold on. It's an LSU lamp, like an old school LSU lamp.
nice. Well, and those, anything that's sports related or has like, especially college and things like that, people just go crazy over.
It's still actually got the Goodwill tag on it. Let's see if we can get this.
Wow, that is cool. Engineer, that's really cool. You paid $3 for that?
Yeah.
I can't imagine how much you're gonna get on that. That's cool.
Yeah, well, you know what? Even even that I paid, even with paying $2.99, it doesn't matter because I have to list it.
That's true. That's true. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, stuff like that's gonna be really cool. I mean, could you imagine, somebody graduating who's an engineer, graduating with an engineer degree? I mean, that'd be something cool for the office,
Yeah, it'd be really cool. Like if I went to LSU and like you said, was an engineer, that would be awesome. I don't know. I'll probably list it $35-$40. I don't remember there being any comps on it. It's pretty specific.
Yeah.
It's probably not. There's probably not a lot of them around. Let's see. Yeah, so that was a really cool lamp. Okay. I've got a confession, guys. I know a couple episodes ago I said that, I don't offer free returns on eBay.
And what have you done?
That's the question I keep asking myself. What have you done? I turned on free returns for all of my items.
I think you'll like the returns that you're gonna get on it.
Yeah, we talked about this.
That was a pun. You didn't even laugh.
Huh?
That was a pun. You didn't even laugh at the pun.
Oh, you had replay it. Go ahead.
God, you've lost it now.
Did I? Was it me?
I think you're gonna like the return on your investment.
So, I turned off. That was bad.
You made it bad.
Did I?
Whatever.
Anyway, so God, you got me thrown off now. Yeah, so I turned on free returns. I earned that fucking top seller. I earned that.
How long have you had it?
Top seller?
Yeah.
Couple months after I started selling, I guess. No. It was sometime last year, yeah. At least October.
I just got it like 2 months ago.
Got it back.
No, just got it.
What? No.
I think I was top rated seller for like maybe 1 month, but I couldn't ever get my late shipment rate under 3%.
I've never had a late shipment. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I could never get it.
I don't shit. Let's be honest here and transparent. I ship way less than you do. So like it's probably my 1 to your 100. So it's not like it's really apples to apples.
Well, even then you would think the volume would make up for it, but every once in a while I don't know, couldn't, full-time job, couldn't get to the post office in time.
Did you ever think about adjusting your handling time?
No, only because I didn't want people to compare the delivery dates to other people and see that they could get it faster.
Let me ask you this. Do you think, okay, so 2 days is pretty much the standard now. Amazon set that, obviously, to where I think people are happy. If it's next day, most people don't expect you to pay for shipping and to have it next day. But 2 days, 3 days, yeah. So do you think really anything over 3 days, they're really gonna care if it's an extra day?
I don't know. I mean, it just depends on what the item is and how fast you need it. I mean, if you're buying a toy for a birthday party, you're going to need it by a specific date. And I think, there's a lot of people that are pretty cautious about it and be like, well, I don't want to chance it. Like, I want to make sure it gets here, on time. And it could be a small percentage. I don't know. I just know that's the reason why I never changed it to 2 days. I always kept my handling at one.
Man, we give out some really clear and concise information on this podcast. We do. We tell you guys exactly what to do down to the T.
That
Yeah.
Weird. That was weird. But
no, you were pretty vague on what you were saying.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't notice.
We
Okay,
can't just guess
here,
at this stuff. We're supposed to be experts and gurus.
No, we'll start over. I didn't want to change my handling time because I didn't want customers to think their item would get shipped later, and I didn't want them comparing my shipping times to other people's shipping times and going with other buyers. And I think that there's enough people who care about that extra day that would have made a difference in my sales. Maybe not, but I think it would have. That's why.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah, I can't. Shipping's everything now. I mean, every single customer. Well, not every single customer. Many customers expect free shipping. They don't want to pay.
Agree.
I expect free shipping.
Yeah.
That's just the Amazon effect.
Wait. You charge shipping almost everything you sell.
No, that doesn't matter. That's because I'm making money off of it, and it's not almost everything. I have a lot of free shipping stuff, but I do. If it's over a pound, I generally pay. I generally charge shipping. If it's
Hold
under,
on. Do you believe in ghosts?
Don't freak me out.
I just saw an orb. It may have been a speck of dust going in front of the camera, but for you guys watching on YouTube, or you guys listening on Spotify or any other podcast app, maybe you need to go over to YouTube and check out this episode, because I'm pretty sure I just saw a ghost.
It's probably a speck of dust, you idiot. An orb. I saw.
Well, thanks for running that. Nobody's gonna come watch the video now.
Oh, they're gonna see this magical orb that passed by the
Watch. People will be like, "Holy shit!"
All right, how far are we in the episode? What minute?
Way far. 54 minutes.
54 minutes. Okay. Well, then I guess we'll see this fucking orb. Anyways, and
depending on how it gets cut up, that might not exactly be that time.
Yeah, you'll probably edit all this crap out.
Yeah,
but
most of the episode.
Just your parts. You talk about me being vague and all this other crap, and then you pause the podcast to talk about an orb that was a speck of dust.
People are gonna see it. They're gonna be talking about it. This shit's gonna go viral. So I might as well bring it up.
Okay. All right, we'll see.
Okay, we talked about 2 episodes ago on that. Let me get my words right. Keeping an eBay listing open, even though you have sold out of it, to preserve your rank or your views and your watchers and all that kind of good stuff that eBay looks for to rank your item in the listings, search results, excuse me. Did we ever figure out how to do that?
Yeah. So here's how you do it. I'll kind of go over this just a second. So it's called the enable out of stock function on your eBay account, and I'll screen share real quick, and you can, if you want, you can take a picture of this. And this is from the eBay support page, and it just kind of gives you how to enable this out of stock feature. Log into your store, go to site preferences, and then from site preferences, sell your item, form and listings, And then on here it says use the out of stock option. Always have this checked. So that's what this means is that when your item once you sell the last item on your listing won't disappear. So if it's something that you're going to be buying again, or if you think in the future that you're going to have more of these, all you have to do is just click on this listing, hit revise, and then just add the quantity, and then boom, it's automatically back up. And the cool thing is it also keeps your sold history, and that's like the main thing, because if you're selling a phone charger and you've sold like 2,500 of these things, and you run out of stock, well, that history of that 2,500 sold won't go away. So um, once you restock this, revise your item, add your quantity, it's gonna pop up and it's gonna have that history on there. So you really don't lose anything. This is huge. You need to do this now, even if it's something that you're probably not going to sell again. And I'll tell you why. Say for instance, you sell a VCR, a used VCR from Goodwill, and you send it, and the customer says, "Oh, I don't want it anymore," and they return it. Well, there's there's a little bit more difficulty relisting it, especially if you're requesting a final value fee credit, because there's some bugs on eBay's website that won't allow you to relist it right away, simply because you're waiting on the days to get your final value fee credit. You're trying to get the item back in stock, or back to your physical location. It's just super easy to just click on the link, add the quantity, and hit submit, and you're good to go.
So just add a quantity of one.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is also, if you've got customers that you're like they buy it, they don't pay for it, and you just know that they're not going to pay for it, you can go ahead and just add the quantity back onto that listing, and you're good to go, and you don't have to, you won't lose any potential sales because of a bidder being pesky.
Pesky. That was a very political way to say that.
Yeah, well, there's really not a whole lot that's more annoying than someone that's,
It buys an item and doesn't pay for it.
well, buys a unique item, and it takes the listing off of well, it takes it from people being able to view it. And one of the other cool things is that people can still see these listings in the solds. So for instance, let's say for instance, I'm selling a gun part, right? And normally I buy these for $5 and I sell them for 20, and I run out of stock. Customers can still find your listing. They can still find it in the solds. And
Yeah.
so if they're looking for somebody who can give them this item, I've had multiple people email me, be like, "Hey, when are you getting back in stock?" And so I can keep those people on a list, and when it's time, when I get that stuff back, I just send them a link to the listing, and they buy it.
Yeah. Okay. Next thing I want to talk about, we're at just over an hour now, according to this, before any edits. This has to do with eBay picture taking. Okay. One of the things you don't want to do on eBay is make your pictures look too good. You don't want to use a filter, that really distorts the color, or, distorts the way something looks as far as defects. You want to kind of steer away from stuff like that, because you really want to represent this product as accurately as possible to that buyer. That buyer is going to get this thing, and I've seen people, that complain about buyers that said, "Well, this item's not as described," or whatever, and you look at their pictures and you're like, "Well, I kind of don't really blame that buyer, because technically your pictures look amazing. Your pictures look new without tags, and really, you kind of filtered out the defects, and take pictures of the defects. If something has a defect, please take a picture of it, because you will save yourself money and hassle in the long run.
Yeah, you're kidding yourself if you think that they're going to overlook it. But I think one of the bigger things with the filters is if you're selling clothing, you're going to change the color of the item. I mean, that's like the worst thing, especially if it's like there's like that blue versus purple,
Yeah.
green and dark green and light green and teal, and it's like you can really screw up, somebody's perception of an item by messing with filters. So, um, color, especially for dresses and things like that.
You want to make sure it's the most true to life you can make it. Hold up your picture against your actual item. Do the colors match?
Yep, yep, exactly. Because they're gonna get it, and it's just gonna come right back to you. But,
Yeah, and you're going to be mad. And it's not necessarily going to be the buyer's fault. It's going to be your fault. And you're going to be mad at yourself because you're stupid. And
vivid filter,
don't.
though, if you're gonna use a filter, and I don't know if this is great for clothing because I don't mess with it. But the
I would say
vivid,
probably not.
yeah, I probably not because it does brighten things up. But the vivid filter on your iPhone is like the number one filter to use when taking pictures of electronics and
Where'd
hard
you
goods.
learn that? That's a good tip.
I learned that from an online personality.
I hear you.
Um, but yeah, no, it's awesome. I think the best part about it is that, when you have a white background, it'll eliminate some of the shadows on that white background and some of the dust and blemishes that are on it. It'll eliminate a lot of that. So
Yeah.
it's very helpful.
Another thing too, and I learned this from Wade's Ventures YouTube channel. If you have an iPhone, I don't know how it works on an Android, but if you have an iPhone and you're taking a picture of it and you got your phone there, well, if you tap on the item, it brings up this little box. And that box, I believe, brings the focal point to that part of the picture. Well, right next to that, when you tap on it, there will be a little slider, and you slide your finger up, and it will bring the white, I guess it may be the white balance. It brings the brightness up of your background to the point to where you can't, it looks like you did, one of those cutout apps where, the background is just super bright white and you can't even tell it's a background really. That's one of the number one photo tips that I've found thus far.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Good tips. Good tips.
Yeah. That's all we're about here at the Reseller Collab podcast.
Just the tips.
Just the tip.
God,
I did have
hold on. What a great podcast name.
Are you kidding me?
That would have been a great name. Just the tips. Like,
are you kidding me? I had this idea.
Just the tips?
I even said it. Yes.
No, you didn't. I don't believe you. We're gonna have to.
I have a video. If I steal, it was one of my first Instagram videos. I never put it out, but it was called Just the Tip.
Nice.
Where we gave you.
But I didn't know about that.
I'm pretty sure I sent it to you or told you about it.
Just the tips. That's an excellent idea. Don't steal it.
I don't know why you say it plural. Our tips are not going to be anywhere near each other.
Yes, but they will.
Unless we're sword fighting, of course.
They will be receiving the tips.
Huh.
This has gotten really bad.
Yeah, this went into a weird
zone. Episode 6 in the books.
Is it? I'm pretty sure that we have more to talk about, but I don't. Yeah. I'm never sure about much. Oh, one last thing.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha.
Go ahead.
It's late.
Yeah, it's midnight.
Blaming it on that. God, is it really? Okay, yeah. One last thing. So everybody knows about brick and mortar stores closing. Bunch of them across the country, right? So when these stores close, they do closeout sales. And they mark stuff down in increments all the way up to like 90%. So if you can find out about these closings, before they're actually gone, that you have a leg up. So I'm trying to remember who. I don't think I'm going to remember. I have no idea who showed us this tip or showed me this tip. just the tip. I'm gonna have to edit most of this.
It's gotten really bad.
It's bad. It's so bad. Okay. So I don't know who showed this to me, but you can set a Google alert for whatever search terms you want. So say the term blue and ocean and fiat show up on the same news story or search result. It will send you an email and say, hey, these 3 search terms were found in this article, and this article, and this article. So what you can do is for store closings, you can put in store closings and then your area. So I set a Google alert for store closings, Louisiana. So anytime there is a story that shows, store closing and Louisiana, it will send me an email. Those emails are very valuable.
Yeah, I like that. I didn't even know that you could even do that.
I didn't either. Until I found it. I really wish I would have remembered who gave that tip out so I could give them credit, because that was, it's amazing.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like the same thing with like Facebook Marketplace. You can set alerts for when things match your description. Like you set alerts like for VCRs or electronics or whatever, and you get notifications every time those things pop up. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do a lot of that this afternoon.
You're taking this afternoon? You're taking
Yeah, because it's the next day. It is 12:08 a.m. Therefore, this afternoon.
So many years I put up with this shit. Yeah. So basically, you're taking out. It's another thing that comes up the longer you're in business. You find ways to make things easier. The more things you can make easy, the more time you have to dedicate to those harder tasks, those more labor-intensive, time-intensive tasks. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the name of the game. Free up as much time as possible until you don't have to work at all.
Yeah, people make the
Or
money
work
for
very
you.
little.
Have people make money for you.
Read The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss.
It's good stuff.
It is good stuff. It will teach you.
All right.
That stuff.
Good episode, man.
I think it was. I was very skeptical about this being a good one. I really was. Sometimes you're just not in the mood.
And I think, for those of you who are actually listening or watching this, there was a lot that's been edited out, and it was a lot of trash and a lot of garbage. So you're only getting the best.
You're getting the best tip.
You're getting the biggest and best tip. So we're going to have to edit that out too. But yeah, whatever. And there's a ghost. We talk about spiders, ghosts, and making money. It's a pretty cool podcast, if you ask me.
I mean, you can't really compare it.
Oh, and creeper vans, which you didn't talk about.
Molester vans. Is that offensive?
No.
I don't know what's offensive anymore.
It's cringeworthy, but it's not offensive. And at least not to me. But they're still offend somebody.
There's very little that is offensive to you. Let's be honest. And me.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. But so yeah. Good talking to you.
I wish I could say the same. Have a good night, sir.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.